Welcome to this week's episode of The Powerhouse Effect. I'm Amy Gregory, one of eXp Realty's top recruiters and the founder of Powerhouse, a national organization of over 800 agents built specifically for the female solo agent who is done leaving money on the table. Every episode, you're going to hear from a real Powerhouse agent who made the leap and never looked back. Today's guest is Shaylee Clark, and she went from 2.6 million in production to over 13 million in production without sacrificing her life and without doing it alone. Here is her story. Shaylee, let's get into it a little bit because you have a really fun story of how you found Powerhouse. The fact that you even moved your license to Powerhouse is wild to me. So tell me a little bit about your real estate business before Powerhouse.
I started my career at a ministry called Compassion International. And when I had my daughter, she had a form of epilepsy. And I was able to leave my job at Compassion because we had a rental that would supplement enough of my income in order for me to stay home with her. Well, my daughter then experienced a true miracle healing. And all of a sudden, my time kind of opened up. It was like I went from being a medical mom with all these appointments, medications, follow-ups. I mean, if you're a medical mom, you understand. To then now, she has none of that. And so I had a lot of family and friends ask me, like, hey, how are you able to stay home? Tell me about your rental. Could you help us do the same? So I started helping family and friends just finding rental properties or upgrading their move and then renting out their primary, teaching them how to self-manage. So at the end of that year, my husband said, honey, you're working for free. And I agreed. I said, I'm absolutely working for free. And I got my license in April of 21. And my first year, I hit about 5 million. I signed on with my family-owned brokerage. So my mom and sister-in-law own their own brokerage in Denver, which is about an hour from where I'm at. And I signed on with them. I quickly realized with working with them an hour away and just they do it very part-time. I did it very part-time. I just quickly hit a ceiling of like, okay, I need to see more people that look like me, that want to build the business like me. And I had followed you since 2019 before I even had my license. I had reached out to you and I said, hey, can you show me the math again on what you're talking about? And you sent me a video of you like writing it out on a whiteboard for me. Little did you know I didn't even have my license yet. And so it was always kind of in the back of my mind. I had always loved you, always followed, knew that this was the way that I wanted to build my business. So I brought the opportunity to my mom and sister-in-law and I said, hey, I see a huge opportunity here. I actually took it to them right when I got my license and they said, no, we want to own our own brokerage. And I said, okay, I'll join you and I'll do that dance for a while. Well, then I did a Powerhouse try-on and I was like, oh my gosh, I was blown away with the amount of women that were building what I wanted to build and in a way that was healthy. I think that was the biggest thing was I had looked at other brokerages here in town. They were just burning out. I mean, they just burn you out completely. And so after seeing all of the women building how I wanted to build, I knew what I needed to do, but it took a little while to have those conversations. Had some harder conversations because little did I know in the background were conversations of me becoming a part owner in that brokerage. So it was a little bit tender. And I brought it to them and I said, hey, I see this opportunity for all of us. I would love for you to join me. This is where I'm taking my license. Please come along. They're not ready. I still pray that they will. I still see the opportunity, but we'll see. We will see. But yeah, I left my family-owned brokerage to join a room where people were building how I wanted to build.
And what was that like? What was it that you see like that you saw? What is it that you wanted to build? You said a lot inside of that. One, I think
Yeah.
this thing of like building a business that's healthy
Hmm.
inside your lifestyle. And we see this a lot inside of real estate where agents get on this hamster wheel.
Hmm.
They are just running and it
Yeah.
never stops. So talk to me a little bit about what does a healthy business look like for you?
Yeah, Amy, you know me. I'm an incredibly grounded person. My quiet time is incredibly important to me. My faith is incredibly important to me. My relationships are incredibly important to me. And I was talking to a business owner mentor, and she said, you can be a great mom and you can be a great business owner, but outside of that, you might not have friends. And I was like, I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I believe that you can build it all. in a way that can be healthy, and understanding that growth for growth's sake sometimes is really stupid. But if you build it in a sustainable way and you plan for what future you will thank current you now for, it opens so much. So, for example, I joined something called a supper club. My friend had been really prayerful about who she wanted to join it. It's a once a month dinner. And what that looks like is there's 6 entrepreneurs around the table that are all in different industries, and those women have become my closest friends. And so it's not about not having friends. It's not about having friends that don't understand what you're doing. It's about sitting at the right table. And so I'm sitting at the right table within Powerhouse, building my business, seeing these women that are doing digital products, coaching, monthly recurring revenue, excuse me,
Mhm.
and building their teams or their downlines. And then I have this table of community of women that are also entrepreneurs that understand what comes with motherhood, owning a business, all of that. And so both of those rooms encourage me to grow in a healthy way, not just a hey, burn it until you burn down.
I mean, I kind of love this idea of supper club. Now I feel like I
Yeah.
can build my own supper club. That's a phenomenal
Yeah.
idea. And this is a thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is how many kids do you have again? Three or
I have
four?
two.
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 See, I
Hmm.
have four. So I think everyone's at 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I'm crazy. And but it's this thing of like carrying the weight of a business alongside the weight of motherhood.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get talked about very much, but there is
Yeah.
huge weight inside of both of those. Inside the
Hmm.
business side, you're carrying people's transactions and these other hopes and their dreams. And obviously, as a mom, you're carrying all of those same things too. So, how has Powerhouse helped you find that balance of pursuing both? Because you had a huge leap inside of production, and that comes with more weight inside
Hmm.
the
It
business.
does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how have you found that because a lot of people would say, well, then you can't do that much production. If you want balance, you can't do
Mm.
that much production.
Yeah, I think one thing that you really honed in on is increasing price point, is a huge part of that. So for me, my model was I teach people how to upgrade their move and then rent out their primary residence. That naturally increased my price point, right? And then once they're ready to move again, they move up, and then those two are rentals. And then a lot of them realize they don't actually want to be landlords and they sell the other two. And so that's how I've grown my price point very, very naturally, because I help people primarily move up in their move. Um, and I think it's all about finding alignment. You hear that a lot in business coaching in general, find alignment, find alignment. But what that looks like for me is drastically different than what it looks like for you.
Mhm.
My business, in 2025, it was the year of my life. I truly like spiritually felt like I was being pursued by the Lord in such an intimate and special way. In my business, it was thriving. I was testing all kinds of different things. And you don't know if it works for you until you try it. And so I was trying a lot of different things, realized certain things do work for me, certain things don't work for me. And yes, you can do that much production and not burn out if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
For me, if we're being really, really brutally honest, I like to have about 3 transactions open in escrow at any given point.
Yeah.
Anything more than that feels a little bit heavy, feels a little bit weighty, and I start not loving my transactions as much. But this room gives you the opportunity to speak that out loud, to say, this is what I want. This is what produces the lifestyle that I want for my family. My why is 100% my family. So, how do I build this lifestyle in order to suit that? And so I think it's not just about like, hey, increase your production, increase your production. It's also about how do you build the life that you actually want?
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the biggest thing that you found inside of like Powerhouse? Like what changed inside your business?
Yeah, I was really freaking lonely. I
Yeah.
was really lonely trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm trying to figure out social media. I'm trying to figure out transactions. I'm trying to figure out how to be a new mom. I'm a homeschool mom as well. So I was like, okay, what do I do for preschool for my daughter? I was trying to figure all of this stuff out. And I was like, I have no one just to bounce ideas off of that understands the weight that I'm carrying. So there's a lot of people here in town that are realtors that I could call and say, hey, I have this transaction that's going sideways. How do I fix this? But I have no one to call and say, like, hey, I have 32 doctor appointments and 7 school appointments and all of this. Like, how do you carry it all? And it just becomes really lonely in this room. Just yesterday, I was talking with Kimberly Prince, and we were sending voice texts back and forth just about a contract that she has going right now. And there's just so much beautiful collaboration. And the great thing about having 800 people in this room is you find the people that fit you. And so it's not just like, oh, I'm going to join this room and there's not going to be anyone like me. You find the people that are like you and that are building like you.
Absolutely. Well, and I think too, is um, you find the people that aren't like you too, and
Yep.
learn from them. And it's
Uh-huh.
because if we're all the same, then if everyone's special, then no one's special, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing
Yeah.
is everyone kind of has their like secret sauce of how they do things and how they figure out their business. And one of the things I've loved watching unfold is like, and we say this all the time in Powerhouse, like I'm not for everyone, right? And you're not for everyone. And even inside of
Right.
Powerhouse, I'm sure there's personalities that like, okay, they're not really for me necessarily.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is it's like there's this level of respect for the business and for the work. And
Mhm.
I have found that I've learned a lot from people that I was like, "Nah, they're probably not doing it how I would do it." And then they
Right.
start breaking down their business, and I'm like, wait, that's actually brilliant.
Yep.
Happened to you, or is it just me?
Oh, it happens all the time. I think like Whitney comes to mind. Um, oh, who was it that taught on Facebook groups? They create Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
it Tanya?
it could have been, yeah.
I think it was Tanya. But she taught on creating your own Facebook group for your community. I mean, there are a million ways to build this business. And so to have that inspiration, it's kind of like you're in this really stuffy room of real estate and you're just like cracking the window and it allows you to like feel the breeze. So it just gives you enough inspiration to be like, oh, I actually really do like that. Or no, that one isn't for me. And so, yes, drastically different personalities can also be very inspiring. But you also want to pour out. And so that's one thing that I have loved doing within Powerhouse too, is not just, hey, who do I want to imitate? It's, hey, who's 2 steps behind me that I can hold their hand and bring with me too? So it's a beautiful mix of people that have been in the business for 30 plus years and people that have been in the business for 5 minutes.
Well, what I think is interesting, and sometimes people I think have the misconception that Powerhouse is me teaching all the time, and Powerhouse is me, and it's not at all. Like it's not at all. Shaylee teaches inside of Powerhouse. Whitney teaches. Jancy teaches. Tanya teaches. Tasha teaches. Amy teaches. Kim teaches. Like there's so many teachers. And when you say like one of the fun parts for you has been pouring into other people, I
Mhm.
would tell you that like when you teach other people what you do, yes, they learn, but you learn the most. You learn the most. And that's one of the secret sauces of Powerhouse. And I've had to tell agents like, oh no, 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 you have to teach. And
Mhm.
because it helps you the most. So what have you learned about your own business from teaching inside of Powerhouse?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Because it kind of forces you to like look at your own business and ask yourself
Yeah.
the questions of like, well, how did I do that? Like, if I
Yeah.
was going to repeat this, how would I tell someone to repeat this?
Yeah. I think I don't know if this is necessarily the direction that you're thinking of the question, but the first time I ever taught in Powerhouse, I was nervous beyond belief, and I actually loved every moment of it. Like, loved it. And so that started this kind of spiral of like, are there speaking opportunities? Are there teaching opportunities? And so it opened this whole other branch of my business that I really wasn't sensitive to or listening to or really admitting what I wanted. And so teaching that first time was so eye-opening for me, but it was also eye-opening in another way. I feel like so many real estate agents on social media look the same. And so before joining Powerhouse, I was trying to imitate that a lot. And then when I came to teach Powerhouse for the first time, I don't know if you remember, I had a whole different slide deck created, my lesson created. And then that morning I got into my Bible and it just like ripped me to shreds. And I came on and I was like, okay, I have something else than originally planned. And I just went sideways. And I realized through teaching in Powerhouse, it was like, I don't want to look like everyone else. I don't want to be like everyone else. I want the business that God has for me and the blessings that God has for me. And I don't want anything outside of that. Like, why am I trying to imitate and be like other people when my clients are attracted to me? My community is attracted to me. I have a unique purpose. I was made on purpose for a purpose. Why am I not listening to that? And so I think that twofold, it opened up this whole other door of teaching and speaking that wasn't a door that was open before. And it also just showed me, like, hey, yeah, you really don't want to be everyone else.
That no, I actually remember that very vividly. And I remember thinking, like, this is so bizarre that Shaylee is so nervous because, like, honestly, and but I think like from my vantage point, I loved watching you like work through that and kind of find your own voice.
Yeah.
And I think when agents really find their own voice, it opens up this, like to your point, this next chapter, this next thing. And we see a lot of agents do that inside of Powerhouse when they start teaching. There's a lot of ones that have been memorable. Like I loved Tasha's about like her writing like a manifesto or
Yeah,
you know,
so
like
good.
staying anchored inside your business.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the things inside of Powerhouse is it's not, it doesn't seem like it's just Tuesdays are just like transaction focused. We really do focus on creating more transactions, but a lot of times in order to create more transactions, like you have to do this inner work on yourself
Yeah.
to like be willing to receive more,
Yeah.
you know, and you're a phenomenal teacher at it.
Oh, thank you.
And it's been really fun to watch you do that. Looking back, what do you wish you could tell yourself, 4 years ago?
Join Powerhouse. Stop waiting. Yeah, no, that truly is one of them is like get off the pot, you know. I had a phone call with an agent thinking about joining Powerhouse last week, and she is on a team with her family. And so she's navigating a lot of those hard conversations.
Mhm.
And now that I'm through it and looking back, I'm like, gosh, that was not as hard as I thought it would be. And this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And so I think just getting rid of some of that anxiety and those nerves, understanding that this is a massive blessing for you and your business. Take the leap,
Yeah.
take the chance. You always have that other thing to fall back on, right? Like there's a safety net there.
Mhm.
Why are you not just taking the leap? And I think another thing would be to lean in fully, completely, honestly, everything into who you are, who you were made to be, and listen for the discernment of the Holy Spirit and how He guides your business. Because I think for a long time when I first started, I was like, oh, what accolades can I get? What trophies can I win? Can I become an icon agent? And now I'm like, I don't actually want that. Like, I don't want any trophies on my desk. Like, I want to be a present mom and I want to be able to take like all of July off. You know, it's like that's not actually what I wanted,
Are
but I
you
was told that's what I should want.
are you taking all of July off?
Mostly, yeah. Yeah. So
Okay,
I have this, I have one in escrow, but I purposefully paused on everything else.
yeah. Okay, let's talk about this just a little bit because you're like, I don't want any trophies on my shelf.
Yeah.
I think we're taught to want that. It's culturally it's a thing to pursue. Um, and I remember the first time I told agents I was going to build a business that allowed me to take a month off in the summer, like they legit laughed at me. And
Yeah.
I probably should have listened to them. They were way more experienced than me, but I was just like,
No.
nah. And,
No, that's your magic, Amy. That's your magic.
right? Yeah. Tell my parents that.
Yeah.
Um,
Happily.
right? And but I think that is the trophy. The trophy is I took July off.
Hmm. Yeah.
And some of those things like just don't show up on a stat sheet. And why do we need them to show up on a stat sheet?
Right.
Right? Like who actually cares?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
talked to an agent here in town who doubled my production, but she's on a team, so she split her income. And so I told her, I said, why don't you work half as much and make just as much money? Because not only did she have her team split, she had her brokerage fee and her, oh, what did she call it?
her desk fee,
Something like it was similar to a desk fee, but it basically was like
like
royalties for the brand.
your existence fee. I mean,
Yeah. 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 Sorry for breathing fee.
uh-huh.
Yeah. And I made more money than her. And she was so proud of the amount of production she did, which she should be.
Yes.
But I made more money than her. And I don't care. I don't care how much production I do. I care about the blessing that it is for my family.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's wild. She did twice as much production and you made more money.
Yeah, exactly twice as much production last year. Yeah.
And she probably worked more hours too.
Oh, way more. Way more.
That agents
Yeah.
don't do this. I'm like, why don't agents run their hourly rates?
No. Yeah, I think it's the
More money. Wait, now I'm really gonna get into this shape. You know the wheels are
I
turning.
know. I know.
So if she did double in production,
Hmm.
okay, how many hours a week do you think she's working? Like from outside looking in, would you guess 40 hours a week?
Yeah, so she's full-time in the office and that's not including showings outside of that.
Oh, so she's working 50-hour weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many hours a week are you working?
I'm at about 20 averaged out. There's weeks that are significantly more, and then there's July that is really slow, and so averaged about 20.
You didn't, she's doing double the production,
Yeah.
double the hours, and getting paid 50% less.
Yeah.
So your hourly rate is actually probably like 4 times her hourly rate.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's sickening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a bummer.
I know. I know.
That
But
makes
again, her brokerage has her family in it. So here I am sitting like, I know what you're going through. Make a change.
that actually makes it even more gross.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, genuinely. Like as a mom, as a parent, there's no way. That feels yucky. I don't like
Yeah.
it. I don't like
Yeah.
it.
No. Nope.
Yeah, that's gonna keep me up tonight. I don't like that for her. But that's the ugly truth of real estate, and that
It
story's
is.
her story's very normal. Her story's
Mhm.
very normal, and
Very.
I mean, kudos to you for seeing it and taking ownership of your business and your life, and not at the expense of your family. Like I think everyone's doing their best, and you don't know what you don't know, and genuinely, I don't think most people don't have malice attached to their behavior, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. I do think, Amy, I think there's this idea that being a full-time agent makes you taken more seriously, or working full-time hours makes you taken more seriously. But I think when I was in college, I had a professor tell me that competence is often the best witness for Christ in the workplace. But competence is also your permission to be human in the workplace. And so I'm allowed to admit that I work 20 hours a week because I'm really freaking good at what I do.
Yeah.
If I wasn't good at what I did, if I didn't treat my clients with excellence, if I didn't pour out in those 20 hours a week, it would not be okay for me to say I'm a homeschool mom, I have my kids in the background on the phone, but you're allowed to do that because of your competence. Powerhouse teaches how to be really, really good at your job. So you have the permission to say, yeah, so what? I work 10 hours a week. I work 20 hours a week.
Yeah, like I mean, a lot of dentists and orthodontists work 4 days a week
Hmm.
because they're good at what they do.
Yeah,
In any other industry, if you're efficient, that's shows your competence, right? Efficiency is a measure of competence. Um,
right.
wow, that's wild. Shaylee, thank you so much for being with us today inside the Powerhouse Effect. Shaylee is one of my favorite teachers inside of Powerhouse, and if her story sounds familiar, that's because it is. And this is what happens inside of Powerhouse. We give you permission to build a business that suits your lifestyle, and I love how you said it. It's a healthy business. If you're a solo female agent doing 3 to 5 million in production and you're wondering if there is a better way to build, there is. Come find out what the Powerhouse Effect feels like for you. There are links in the show notes to Shaylee and to apply, schedule a phone call to talk about how Powerhouse looks for you. If this episode hit home, share it with one agent who needs to hear it. That's how we grow this community. I'm Amy Gregory, and we will see you next week.